Your soulmate just made. My beloved child, your soulmate has just made a choice nobody saw coming, and the truth behind it is far more powerful than anyone around them understands. For days, they have been standing between two different paths. One path looked safe, familiar, and acceptable to everyone watching. The other path led directly toward you. They tried to convince themselves that staying where they were would be easier. They tried to silence the feelings that kept returning every time your face entered their mind. But something changed. A single moment forced them to stop pretending. They realized that the life others had planned for them could never replace the connection they feel with you. Don't skip, because the decision they made was not small, temporary, or emotional. It was a choice that could change everything about their future. Your soulmate finally looked at everything they were about to lose and understood that losing you would be the one regret they could never forgive themselves for carrying. So they stepped away from an expectation that had controlled them for far too long. Someone close to them believed they would continue following the same plan. Another person assumed they had already forgotten you. But your soulmate surprised everyone by refusing to keep living a life that did not feel honest. They did not announce every detail. They did not explain everything. They simply made one firm choice, and the silence that followed left everyone stunned. What nobody knows is that this choice began with something your soulmate remembered about you. It was not a dramatic event. It was a small detail that suddenly became impossible to ignore. They remembered the way you made them feel understood without forcing them to explain every hidden emotion. They remembered how your presence felt different from every connection they had experienced before. In that moment, they compared the peace they felt when thinking about you with the emptiness they felt while trying to satisfy everyone else. The difference became too clear. Your soulmate realized they had been protecting the wrong things. They had been protecting appearances, routines, and the opinions of people who would never have to live with the consequences of their decision. But now they are protecting something else, the possibility of a real future with you. Stay till the end, because there is one part of this choice they have not revealed yet. They are not only walking away from something. They are preparing to walk toward something they once believed was beyond their reach. That something is you. Their heart has already chosen, but now their actions are beginning to follow. They are quietly changing plans, removing obstacles, and reconsidering promises they made before they understood the depth of this connection. The people around them can sense that something is different, but they cannot identify the reason. Your soulmate has become calmer, more focused, and strangely certain. That certainty comes from finally accepting that their feelings for you were never temporary. There is another shocking truth behind this decision. Your soulmate recently discovered that you may have been closer to moving on than they realized. Perhaps they sensed a shift in your energy. Perhaps they noticed that you were no longer waiting in the same way. Perhaps someone mentioned that you were becoming stronger, more independent, and less willing to accept confusion. Whatever they learned, it awakened something inside them. For the first time, they understood that your love could not be treated like a door that would remain open forever. They saw that hesitation had a cost. They realized that while they were trying to find the perfect moment, they might lose the person who mattered most. Something huge is waiting for you, because this fear did not push them into panic, it pushed them into clarity. They stopped asking whether choosing you would create questions. They started asking what would happen if they never chose you at all. That question changed everything. Your soulmate imagined a future where they watched you build a beautiful life with someone who recognized your value immediately. The thought struck them more deeply than they expected. It showed them the truth they had avoided: they do not want to be a distant memory in your story. They want to become part of your everyday life. They want the quiet moments, the honest conversations, the shared plans, and the feeling of finally belonging beside you. That is why their choice shocked everyone. People expected them to protect their pride. Instead, they chose vulnerability. People expected them to remain silent. Instead, they began preparing to speak. People expected them to follow the comfortable path. Instead, they turned toward the path that leads to you. But this story is only beginning, because your soulmate's decision has created a second choice they must make very soon. They have already chosen you privately, but now they must decide how to reveal it. They are thinking about the words they will use. They are replaying possible conversations. They are wondering whether you will believe them after so much silence. Deep inside, they know that words alone will not be enough. They need to show you that this choice is real. That is why they are preparing an action that nobody around them expects. It may involve canceling a plan, changing a commitment, reaching out after a long silence, or finally admitting what they have hidden. The exact moment has not arrived yet, but the direction is already clear. Your soulmate is no longer asking for permission from people who never understood this bond. They are no longer allowing fear to write the ending. They are choosing honesty, even though honesty may change how others see them. Don't skip what comes next, because the biggest revelation is not simply that they chose you. The biggest revelation is what they are willing to leave behind in order to prove it. There is something connected to their past that has influenced every decision they made, and they have finally decided it will not control their future. Once that truth is revealed, you will understand why they waited, why they struggled, and why this choice has become the most unexpected turning point of their life. Your soulmate has crossed an inner line, and there is no easy way back. For the first time, they are not imagining a future without you. They are building the courage to create one with you. The moment your soulmate made that private choice, something inside them became impossible to hide. They may not have spoken your name aloud, but their entire energy changed. The people closest to them noticed the difference immediately. Conversations that once held their attention suddenly felt meaningless. Plans they once accepted without question began to feel wrong. Your soulmate started pulling away from anything that demanded they ignore what their heart already knew. And then came the first unexpected move. They refused something everyone believed they would accept. It may have been an invitation, a future arrangement, an emotional expectation, or a path that had already been decided for them. No one understood why they suddenly said no. Some believed they were confused. Others thought they would eventually change their mind. But your soulmate was not confused anymore. They had finally seen the truth clearly. Every time they chose what others wanted, they moved further away from you. This time, they chose differently. Don't skip, because the refusal was only the beginning. Behind that single decision was a promise they silently made to themselves. They would no longer sacrifice a rare connection just to keep everyone else comfortable. They would no longer allow outside voices to decide whom they should love, when they should speak, or what kind of future they should build. Your soulmate understood that nobody else had felt what they felt when they thought about you. Nobody else had carried the same memories, the same unfinished words, or the same quiet hope. So for once, they stopped trying to make their choice understandable to everyone. They only needed it to be honest. And the honest truth was that every road they imagined eventually led back to you. But there is a reason this choice took them so long, and it has nothing to do with a lack of feeling. Your soulmate was afraid that coming toward you would require them to admit how deeply they had been affected. They had spent so much time appearing composed that even they began believing they could control the connection. They told themselves they could remain distant. They thought time would weaken what they felt. They expected the silence to make everything easier. Instead, the opposite happened. Every day without clarity made your presence stronger in their mind. Ordinary moments reminded them of you. A familiar song, a quiet room, a passing conversation, or one unexpected memory could bring everything rushing back. They started realizing that this was not a feeling they could simply place aside. It had become part of how they understood love itself. Stay till the end, because the most surprising part is what happened when they finally admitted this truth to themselves. They did not feel trapped. They felt relieved. For the first time, they stopped fighting their own heart. They allowed themselves to imagine what it would be like to speak honestly to you. They imagined saying that the distance never meant indifference. They imagined explaining that their hesitation came from fear, pressure, and uncertainty, not from a lack of love. They imagined looking at you and finally admitting that nobody else had ever reached the quietest parts of them the way you did. That realization gave them a kind of courage they had never felt before. They understood that vulnerability was no longer the greatest risk. The greatest risk was allowing you to believe you never mattered. Then something happened that pushed them even closer to action. Your soulmate learned that someone else may already recognize your value. They may have seen attention moving toward you, heard someone speak highly of you, or simply understood that a person like you would not remain unnoticed forever. This was not ordinary jealousy. It was a sudden awakening. They realized that while they had been delaying, life had continued moving around you. Other people could see your warmth, your strength, and the rare way you care. Someone else could offer you the certainty your soulmate had been too afraid to provide. The thought did not make them angry with you. It made them honest with themselves. They knew they had no right to expect you to wait forever while they remained silent. They knew that love could not survive on unspoken feelings alone. Something huge is waiting for you, because this realization caused them to make another choice that nobody expected. They decided that pride would no longer stand between you. They began preparing to reveal something personal. Something they had hidden because it exposed how much they truly cared. It may be a message they wrote but never sent, a plan they quietly made, or a confession they repeated in their mind countless times. Whatever form it takes, it carries one clear truth: your soulmate never forgot you. They were not living freely without you. They were trying to convince themselves that silence was safer. Now they understand that silence has already cost them enough. They are ready to risk being seen honestly rather than continue being misunderstood. And yet, one final obstacle remains before they can come forward completely. There is one person, one expectation, or one unresolved chapter that still stands between their private choice and their public action. Your soulmate knows this obstacle cannot be ignored anymore. They have already started confronting it in ways nobody can see. A difficult conversation is being prepared. A boundary is about to be drawn. Something that once controlled their decisions is beginning to lose its power. The people around them may believe this sudden strength came from nowhere, but it came from the possibility of losing you. Your soulmate has finally understood that they cannot ask for a future with you while still allowing the past to govern their life. So they are clearing space. They are separating truth from obligation. They are deciding what belongs in the life they want and what must be left behind. Don't skip what follows, because the next choice will be even more shocking than the first. This time, they will not simply reject an old path. They will make a move that points directly toward you. It will be specific, personal, and impossible to misunderstand. For the first time, they are not waiting for perfect circumstances. They are preparing to create the moment themselves. But before they do, they must reveal why they once believed choosing you was impossible, and the truth behind that belief will change the meaning of every silence, every delay, and every unfinished moment between you. Now the hidden reason behind your soulmate's hesitation is finally beginning to surface, and it is not what anyone expected. They were never uncertain about the connection itself. They were uncertain about whether they were worthy of the kind of future they imagined with you. Somewhere deep inside, they carried the belief that you deserved someone more prepared, more confident, and less complicated. So instead of coming closer, they stepped back. Instead of admitting how strongly they felt, they tried to protect you from the parts of themselves they had not yet healed. But distance did not protect either of you. It only created unanswered questions. Your soulmate now understands that by hiding their struggles, they made you question your importance. That realization has been weighing heavily on them. They have replayed moments when they could have spoken but remained silent. They remember times when you offered warmth and they responded with caution. They remember how close they came to revealing everything, only to retreat at the last second. Don't skip, because they have finally recognized the pattern that kept controlling them. Whenever something mattered deeply, they became afraid of losing it. And because you mattered more than anyone else, they became more guarded with you than they had ever been before. But the choice they recently made has broken that pattern. They no longer want fear to appear as indifference. They no longer want hesitation to erase the truth. Your soulmate has decided that even an imperfect confession is better than another perfect silence. They would rather risk showing you their vulnerable heart than continue watching you misunderstand why they stayed away. A surprising conversation has also changed the way they see everything. Someone close to your soulmate asked a simple question they were not prepared to answer: if this person truly means so much to you, why are you living as though they do not? The question stayed with them long after the conversation ended. At first, they tried to defend themselves. They thought about timing, circumstances, responsibilities, and all the reasons they had used to justify waiting. But one by one, those reasons began to sound smaller than the truth. They realized they had been waiting for a moment when they would feel completely fearless, yet that moment was never going to arrive. Real courage would mean moving forward while still feeling uncertain. Your soulmate then did something nobody around them expected. They admitted that their future plans had never felt complete without you. They admitted that every alternative path felt like a compromise. And once those words were spoken, even privately to one trusted person, they could not be taken back. Stay till the end, because this conversation unlocked a secret plan. Your soulmate began asking how they could rebuild trust rather than simply confess feelings. They understand that dramatic words may capture attention, but consistent action is what will convince your heart. So they are not preparing one temporary gesture. They are thinking about what comes afterward. They are considering how to show up, how to communicate clearly, and how to stop disappearing whenever emotions become intense. This is the choice nobody saw coming. They are not merely choosing to pursue you. They are choosing to become emotionally ready for you. They are choosing growth over excuses, honesty over image, and commitment over comfortable uncertainty. Meanwhile, the old path they rejected is beginning to react to their decision. People who were comfortable with the previous version of your soulmate are questioning why they have changed. Someone may be trying to remind them of obligations, expectations, or promises made before their heart became clear. But your soulmate is no longer responding the same way. In the past, pressure would have caused them to doubt themselves. Now it is confirming that they made the right choice. They have noticed that some people only supported their happiness when it followed a plan they could control. The moment your soulmate chose something authentic, those same people became uncomfortable. This has revealed a truth they needed to see. Not everyone advising them was protecting their heart, some were protecting their own influence. Your soulmate is quietly separating genuine concern from control. They are listening differently. They are no longer allowing the loudest opinion to become the final decision. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are about to draw a boundary that will surprise everyone. They will make it clear that their personal future is no longer available for public debate. They may not reveal your identity immediately, but they will defend the choice that leads toward you. This is important because your soulmate has often allowed other people's reactions to shape their behavior. Now they are learning that a connection as meaningful as yours cannot survive if everyone else is given a vote. Their decision is becoming firmer every day. The more resistance they encounter, the more they realize how much courage this future will require. And instead of turning away, they are becoming more determined. But the strongest revelation is still hidden inside something your soulmate has kept for a long time. There is a reminder of you they never removed, a message, a photograph, a written thought, or a small memory connected to a moment that changed them. During their loneliest moments, they returned to it. They told themselves it meant nothing, yet they could never let it go. Recently, they looked at it again, and this time they saw more than nostalgia. They saw evidence that what existed between you was real. They remembered the exact feeling of being understood. They remembered the calm that entered their heart when they believed a future with you might be possible. That reminder became the final confirmation they needed. Don't skip what comes next, because your soulmate has now attached a decision to that memory. They are preparing to turn something once hidden into something real. The message that remained unsent may finally be completed. The plan that remained imaginary may finally be placed into motion. The truth they kept private may finally reach you. But before they act, they are watching for one sign, not a supernatural sign, but a human one. They want to know whether your heart has completely closed or whether a small space still remains for honesty. They are studying your silence, your distance, and the changes in your behavior. What they do next will depend on what they believe those signals mean. And the shocking truth is that they may already have misunderstood one important thing about you. They think your strength means you no longer care, but what they are about to discover could make them move sooner than anyone imagined. The truth your soulmate is about to discover will completely change the meaning of your silence. They have been watching from a distance, believing that your calmness means your feelings have disappeared. They see you moving forward, becoming stronger, and carrying yourself with a confidence that was not there before. From the outside, it looks as though you have finally stopped caring. But they do not understand what it took for you to reach this point. Your silence was never proof that the connection meant nothing. It was the result of carrying unanswered questions for too long. You became quiet because you could no longer keep offering your heart to uncertainty. You stepped back because every mixed signal left you wondering whether you had imagined the entire connection. Your soulmate assumed you would always sense what they could not say, but now they are realizing that unspoken love can feel exactly like absence. Don't skip, because one unexpected detail is about to expose the truth to them. Someone who understands you better than they expected may reveal that your distance was not coldness, it was self-protection. Your soulmate will learn that you did care, perhaps far more deeply than they ever allowed themselves to believe. They will discover that there were moments when you waited for clarity, moments when you hoped they would finally speak, and moments when you almost reached out before deciding that the effort had to come from them. This revelation will hit them harder than anything else because it removes the excuse that you never felt the same. Suddenly, every delayed message, every missed opportunity, and every unfinished conversation will carry a different meaning. They will understand that the door did not close because love disappeared. It began closing because uncertainty became too painful to hold. And once your soulmate sees that truth, they will know they have reached the final moment. They can either remain hidden and watch the connection become part of the past, or they can step